you gotta learn how to
It's
fall.
not like a pillowcase.
Yeah, that's the number one thing. You got to learn how to fall.
Yeah.
Or if you don't know that, like you might die.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Well, and so that I love wrestling, but you mentioned something too that I think is really interesting about who you are. And when I started working here, we have a communications team, and part of that communications team is like production. They do videos, they do editing, and some of our friends have gone to other places to work, but then they hire new people, but they still recognize that like that video is important. Like we want this to be premiere, and you're one of those people that I met who does editing, does film, does all this different production stuff. Where did your interest? You say you went to Georgia Southern. Where did your interest and kind of passion when you're looking at degrees? How did you go towards that?
So I actually went in. So I went in undeclared because I just didn't know what to do. And then you meet with your advisor, and it was just like, oh, so what do you like to do? And that's why I said I like movies and films. I like video games. Anything with like visual arts or a story. That's what I love.
So you like the storytelling aspect of it?
But
Okay,
the storytelling, but also like the presentation of it. Like say when you do film, right? Especially because my favorite aspect of a film is cinematography, right?
Interesting.
So you got to worry about your framing. You got to worry about your color science. You got to worry about how your lighting. All that plays a part. It's like you're painting a picture, but with the camera. You know what I mean?
Now I'm nervous that you're going to watch this video and go,
video
podcast.
Cool. It's cool.
No.
Yeah.
We need you as a consultant.
I'm not going to lie. If this was Sterling from 2019, I was definitely that guy. But
okay.
Yeah, but you like when you get older, you mellow out and stuff. You don't always need the highest tech or the newest thing, or like not every production is a Hollywood production.
That's true.
So it's just like you do what you do with what you got. So
that's interesting. So you did framing. You said color science. You did what else? You said cinematography.
Yeah,
which is just I guess
the whole like 9 of it. So say like color science, right? You have certain colors that evoke certain emotions with certain things. Like I see a lot of red out here.
Yeah,
like you're very that means like a lot of emotion and passion, and like you're very extroverted and
that's
out there.
Cool. That's exactly what
you kind of have like that fire in you, and that's what red is. Kind of blue is like the opposite. It's very cool, calm, collected. Sometimes it means you're sad. Something like that. So it's always a color that represents something, and you want to display that in your frame. And you also want to mismatch with colors. So say like blue and orange, they're kind of opposite colors. Or like red, blue, yellow. Those are your primary colors. So there's a way to dress up your frame or your scene, and where like certain colors that your character wears or that's in the background can display what mood you want to do. So say if like let's see. All right, so I'm gonna bring a woman into this. Okay.
All right.
So
all
say,
right.
Well, it's not a specific woman, but say okay. So say if they're trying to have a very like moody scene with a very beautiful woman, 9 times out of 10 she's gonna have a red dress on. You know what I mean? So like because it's just like that pops. And like that brings a lot of like vitality and stuff.
You know what that reminds me of is the Matrix.
Yeah,
like the OG Matrix, like 1999.
And it has a very greenish hue.
Yeah,
in it because they're in the Matrix. That's to depict like you have that green hue because you're in the simulation and stuff like that. And they're wearing all black and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but in the scene where he's like training him, Morpheus is training Neo. He goes, "Did you see Agent Smith or whatever?" And he was like, no. It's like where he focused on the girl with the red dress.
Yeah.
And it's like this scene where he looks and sees this girl with the red dress and like is walking by. It's like, did you get distracted? And he turns around and it's like Agent Smith is right there, and it's like you can't get distracted.
Or even with the pills, like the red one, it was so like out there.
Dude,
like you're gonna
wake up. You're gonna wake up from the Matrix.
So you want like the popping red pill or the not the extravagant, the soothing blue pill. Where it's just like
go right back
to sleep. So it's always something.
That's pretty cool. I like that. I didn't even think about that.
And I that's what I also like when it comes to stories, where stories can be told in any type of way. Like it could be told orally, or like even in the Bible, like those were oral stories that were just recorded down. Or someone can write a book. A whole story can just be told in a like a photograph. And it's just open to interpretation sometimes. So it's just an art form that I've fallen in love with over the years, and I want to continue with it. I realized that for a career, not really, but just for myself and
Did
my
you ever
craft.
try to like go to the Hollywood scene?
I mean, you can't
Was
really.
it hard?
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
So whatever film set you go on, you're going to start out as a PA. Mind you, a lot of these, most of these sets are like 12 hours long, 12-hour long days. So a lot of times as a PA, you're kind of doing the not bare minimum, but the mundane.
Yeah, the grunt work.
Yeah, the grunt work and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's some people who can like grind it out and do it. For me, I was just like, nah. And even if you take into account of today's day and age where everything is kind of content creation, everyone's just starting having the camera, doing what they do.
Yeah.
So the Hollywood formula is kind of dying in a way, because everyone's on the internet, everyone's doing this new way of things where Hollywood can't keep up. So that's kind of why they're making
storytelling is kind of morphing a little bit.
Yeah, it's evolving, and that's good. Change is always constant. And so it's just like how do you adapt and how do you evolve with it? So now I'm kind of more at the point where I want to do it, but I don't care about algorithms. I don't care about I don't care about growth in the sense of like the numbers. Like if I make a short film,
Subscribe today. We appreciate that so much.
Yeah, please subscribe.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying though.
But yeah, so I come from the mindset of whoever watches it is meant to watch it. It can have 2 views, but those came from 2 people. So I think I just have a way more holistic outlook on it for me.
I really appreciate you saying that, because when I started the Gray White Buffalo podcast and now we morphed into the Ben Mayfield podcast, and I have Jackson who helps me out a lot doing that behind like kind of the production side of it that I used to do by myself and just was not good at. And so he's helped me elevate that, and other people have helped too. But with that, you kind of go like, all right, what are the views? What are the subscribers? What are what did they not like this episode? Was it too boring? I just did an episode last week that just came out with Hannah and Taylor. I had a great time.
Yeah.
But my first thought when I walked out of the room was like, was it good enough? Like, did I do well enough? Did it flow well enough? Was it this? Was it that? And they were like, well, we had a really good time. And I was like, you know what? I did too. Why is that not the first thought?
Right.
Because if you don't like it, then don't listen.
Yeah.
I'm not, because you're going to have such a variety of people. I can't please all people. Some people are going to subscribe to this because you're on it, or they want to listen to it because it's your friend or your family or whatever. And maybe that's the only episode they listen to. There's some people who listen to every episode. That's great. There's some people who are like, oh, this one's not spiritual enough for me. I only like when Ben does the spiritual episodes. Some are like, I want the entertainment episodes. I want to listen to the ones where they play games.
Yeah.
Great. But I'm not going to try to morph myself to please that person. I just want to be Ben Mayfield. Mm-hmm. And that's why I changed it to the Ben Mayfield podcast. Yeah. I just want to do what I want to do.
Right.
If you want to join me on the journey, great. And so it's hard. Sometimes you got to refocus yourself. Like, ooh,
yeah.
Don't obsess. I want to do good work.
Right.
But I don't want to obsess on how many people listen to it, how many subscribers do it, what are they saying.
And also like just the weight is lifted, because you're not really focused on that stuff anymore. You're just focused on the craft itself and your love for it. So I think it's just like once you get like more experience with whatever you do, and people will see it, like it's always going to be one person who just randomly catches it, and it's going to be like, hey, that was good. And like that one person who stays and continues to watch is way more valuable than someone who just watches a couple of clips or an episode and they just go about their way. Not saying like that's who one is more important than the other in a sense, but it's just like you have someone who's there. Say like if you make a short film and it gets 10 views, and say it's like 2 comments and like 1 person subscribed, it's still 1 person that subscribed. That's still 1 more than 0 or 1 more than what you once had. So it's always like you see your viewers as people instead of numbers in a way.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. It's weird, but
you kind of do that with church too, like, or even like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
I'm trying to things that are successful. I guess what I'm trying to come out with, like Chick-fil-A always is about hospitality.
Yeah,
of like, how do we make you feel like, you know, we want you here and welcomed here. And it's the same thing at church. You know, I've always said, I'm starting another podcast in 2025 that's more Christian based, and it's called Loved, Value, Known Podcast.
Okay.
And it's about how people recognize that God loves them, values them, and knows them. And then how do we do that for other people? How do we love people? How do we value people? How do we know people? And not just go like, oh, another person showed up. Yay, one number for me. I did my job. It's like, what was that person's name?
Yeah.
Do you know that person's story? Have you talked to them about Jesus at all? And like trying to get to know them. And I think it's what kind of that heart of like just seeing people. And I feel like you're talking about as a storyteller with your films is like, man, I'm doing this because I wanted to tell a story and I had this passion behind it. And if one person sees it that really enjoys it, great.
Yeah.
If 100 people who really enjoy it, great. Awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to get out there and let it go viral just so I get some type of pride or ego boost that it hits some number.
Like, that's not going to stop your momentum either, because at the same time, you went in with the mindset saying, like, I'm doing this for me, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, well, even if I didn't get that many views, I had a killer shot that I thought of, and no one can take that away from you. Mm-hmm. And I think, like you said, that's way more important, and you know, it just makes you whole in a way. You're fulfilled more, you know. Yeah.
And being fulfilled is incredible. And I'm sad to say that you are leaving our current place that we work at.